So one of the really common things that a lot of guys experience when they're struggling with this stuff is the spotlight effect. So what that means is basically they're worried about other people either seeing them do the approach or overhearing the conversation that they're having with the girl. And sometimes it can kind of manifest in other ways, like for example, if other people see you getting rejected, then that kind of worries you as well, kind of thing. So yeah, it's very, very common with a lot of guys. It's related to obviously anxiety in terms of the approach, but it's a bit different because it's not so much about the judgment of the girl that's causing the fear. It's the judgments of other people. So I mean, the thing is with this, right, the reality is when you go in and approach a girl like on a relatively busy high street, there is a possibility that other people might see you do it, so potentially there might be a few heads turning, there might be a few eyes looking at you, and you just need to be okay with that. That's kind of the reality of it, but it shouldn't be something that kind of prevents you from doing it, flat out, because there's so much more to gain from actually doing it rather than succumbing to other people's judgments when they really don't care about you that much, because even though they might look at you for 1 or 2 seconds and then forget about you, those 1 or 2 seconds absolutely pale in comparison to the fact that you're about to approach a girl. You could have an amazing conversation with her. Who knows what could happen? She could become your girlfriend in the future. Who knows? So that massively outweighs the fact that you might get a few stares or a couple of looks initially. But generally speaking, if you are in a big city like London or Berlin or just anywhere, just like a big city, most people they might look at you for like 1 or 2 seconds just going in and doing the approach, but they'll forget about it literally 10 seconds later, and they really won't give a shit. So don't think about it in terms of like, oh yeah, so many people are going to see me doing it and they're really going to care, or because it's very, very easy to develop these negative projections that your mind creates, which are completely irrational and not based on reality. It's like, oh, if they see me do it, they're going to phone the police. It's just like, well, hang on a minute, let's think about this rationally. Firstly, you're kind of assuming that what you're doing is inherently a bad thing and that the police need to be called. And secondly, it's like you're assuming that they would actually go to that much of a go that far in the first place, which they just wouldn't. So a lot of it is just irrational projections from your own mind, which is you kind of just need to put it on the back seat and just think about it rationally, because there's the way I see it is that there's two kind of sides of your brain when it comes to this. There's the side of your brain that really, really wants to do it. You see the potential, you're going to benefit from approaching that girl, that you can have an amazing conversation, you could go on a date with her, have her be your girlfriend. It's all very, very positive stuff. So that's the kind of the positive side of your brain. But then you've got the negative side of your brain, which is saying, no, don't do it, stay as you are, just adopt the status quo, don't rock the boat, just carry on living your life as you are. But that long term that's not going to make you happy, whereas short term it's going to protect you. Whereas the side of the brain that wants you to do it, it knows that initially there's going to be a bit of hardship involved, but long term you're going to benefit. And even if she doesn't become your girlfriend, even if you don't go on a date with her, let's say you get rejected, you still feel better for getting rejected because of the fact that you actually did it and you don't have any regrets afterwards from having done it. So that's the key thing. The way I deal with things like the spotlight effect, I just try to think about it rationally. So like let's say you see a girl, she's sitting on a bench and there's like 1 or 2 other people on that bench, and then you're like, oh no, I better not do it because there's there's a couple of other people on that bench. Just take a moment and think for a few seconds rationally, and just think, right, those 2 other people on that bench, are they going to give a shit about me doing this? And thinking logically, thinking rationally, the answer will almost always be no. So therefore you should just go out and do it. And again, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just go in there and give a compliment, and that releases the pressure in the sense that you don't necessarily have to go in and have like a 5-10 minute conversation. It's literally just give a compliment, see what her reaction is. If it's anywhere vaguely positive, then carry on. and if not, then leave it. Simple as that. You know, it really helps not to put so much pressure on yourself in that way. But yeah, the thing with the spotlight effect is that, you know, it's inevitable that there's going to be other people around. There's not much you can do about it, but don't let that worry you, because once you practice enough with this stuff, you'll get to a point where you really don't care about other people seeing you do it, and you don't even notice that much anyway. Like for me, for example, I mean, I know, like, kind of, you know, in the back of my mind, if I approach a girl, you know, there's a possibility there's a couple of other people that might see it, but I just don't care. I just don't care, because, you know, they're not going to do anything. I mean, usually if they do see you do it, they'll probably just have positive thoughts, like, oh yeah, he was brave, or oh, this guy, it's good that he did that, you know, that kind of thing. And it's a very, very small minority of people who will be like, oh, what's this guy doing? Oh, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh, you know, that kind of thing. But even if you do get that kind of reaction, like, so what? I mean, why do you care so much about the opinions of some random strangers who don't give a shit about you anyway? You know, focus on the thing that's actually important. You know, remember what I said, use the rational side of your brain here. This girl could become your next girlfriend. This girl, you could have an amazing conversation. Who knows what could happen? So that's what it comes down to.
Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where we'll go out in public and work on you approaching girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.